So you want that fragrance that brings in that attention this summer, to get those oh so sweet compliments. Now, not all of us care about compliments. Not all of us care about, bringing in the attention from our fragrance, but some of us do. Some of us like that. Some of us enjoy getting the compliments and people saying that you smell nice. In today's video, I have 7 fragrances that are pretty affordable that will bring in those compliments, that will bring in that attention. But before we get into that, I do want to mention a site that I go to that I buy higher end fragrances, like niche fragrances, things that are a bit higher quality than what I have on this list. You'll see certain Creed, certain Xerjoff, certain Roja, certain just higher end niche fragrances for a very discounted price. That website is vimbafragrances.com, and in my description you'll see a link for that site if you want to check them out, in case you're looking for picking up a new niche fragrance, one that will not be on this list, not today. You guys, on that note, let's get into it. Lucky number 7 on this list goes to a fragrance that is fairly similar to a much more expensive fragrance, a Creed fragrance. It is about as basic as you get in terms of display or presentation, but the scent, in my opinion, is pretty nice. It's one that is enjoyable. It smells clean. It has a bit of an oomph behind it in terms of the opening. It's a bit synthetic as well, but the scent is very similar to Creed Silver Mountain Water, in my opinion. It's a bit more on the musky side. Yeah, a bit more on the musky side towards the dry down, but the opening is very crisp and it's very fresh. It's definitely not my favorite from this line, but this one is one that when I've worn it, I've gotten positive reactions, unsolicited compliments, and just people that just generally enjoy this style of fragrance. Now, I'm not exactly sure the notes of this fragrance exactly, but it's called Silver Water and Birch by Cremo. This is one that is still pretty cheap. It's for roughly, I think, around 25 bucks. Like I said, it reminds me a lot of Silver Mountain Water. The projection, decent. The longevity is decent. The general scent bubble that you get with this is decent. Now, it doesn't develop over time. It's not one that's gonna be high quality in that sense. It's not gonna, put on and first thing in the morning, then at the end of the evening, you're gonna have like a drastically different fragrance. This is relatively linear of a scent while still being enjoyable. The opening is a bit crisp. The dry down is still pretty crisp, but it definitely sits closer to the skin. If you've been here for a while, you definitely know that my favorite from this line is Blue Cedar Cypress. This one is still, it's like second behind that one. I also have the Bourbon Oak, but that one kind of gives me a headache. It's not my favorite. This though is one that will pull in the attention. It's not one that's gonna really reach too far away from you, but if you're in close proximity to somebody, they're gonna be like, what is that? And you will get their attention with this. Again, guys, that is Silver Water and Birch by Cremo. I think you can find this for like 25 bucks at like Target, places like that, Walmart maybe. Definitely a good buy if you can find it. Now, next is gonna be a attention-grabbing fresh fragrance, one that is a bit different than others. It has some very unique notes to it. There's the notes of melon, there's the aquatic notes, there's the cappuccino. So I still don't understand how, maybe like I said, maybe I just don't know what cappuccino smells like. But number 6 is gonna go to a seducing fragrance. It says in the name, it's a blue fragrance. If you're picking up what I'm putting down now, you probably get it. It is Blue Seduction by Antonio Banderas. This guy, you get a ton of juice with this thing, and it's gonna last you forever. If I wanted to, I'd put it in my bathroom, just literally apply this every time I get out of the shower. But the good news about this for me on my skin is that it performs for a while. It projects, it lasts. To me, what makes it a bit different than fragrances kind of like, Versace Men of Fresh. This has the same style and vibe to it, but it has that nice melon note. The melon note is a bit synthetic, but it's like a juicy synthetic melon note, which is, in my opinion, is still pretty nice. And that melon note is like a sweet melon note that I think will be great in pulling people in and pulling in their attention. And this is definitely, without a doubt, a compliment getter. Without a doubt. Again, guys, that is Blue Seduction by Antonio Banderas. Now, next we have a flanker fragrance here, guys. It's gonna be one that can be found at rack stores. This entire line, really. I have yet to see these out in actual like bulks and stuff like that. I've only seen them at rack stores. This is one that is very similar to another fragrance that I have, but I do enjoy this one. The sweetness of this one is on par with the other fragrance that I'm going to reference here in a minute, but the sweetness in this fragrance is just better. It just seems more like a crowd appealing kind of scent than the other one is. It has very decent performance, decent projection. Like I said, the sweet notes that are in this are just a bit more enjoyable. With top notes of cardamom, bergamot, lemon, with hot notes of cedarwood and lavender, base notes of benzoin, tonka bean, ambroxan, and patchouli, you get another blue fragrance, but this one right here is just a little different, in my opinion. It is Aqua E Blue by Sabaté Ferragamo. You get its decent projection. Hell of a spray here, dude, guys. Look at this. It's definitely one of the bluer fragrances that I have here in terms of the bottle display. The freaking name's blue, and it's enjoyable. Definitely going to be more of a spring, summer kind of fragrance. It's not really going to be a winter fragrance, I don't think. I'm going to have to test it out this winter. This is still a relatively new fragrance to my collection, but even in the air, there's a sweet spiciness to it that's just very, very appealing. The sweet is definitely over on top of the spicy that's there, but this is going to be one that you don't have to necessarily be in close encounters. This is not going to be one that you're going to have to necessarily be right next to somebody to have them compliment your fragrance. This is one that you're going to walk by them and they're going to it's going to turn them heads, without a doubt. The fragrance that this is kind of similar to, in my opinion, is going to be Versace Dylan Blue. And if you guys know anything about that, you know that it's, generally speaking, is a crowd appealing fragrance. Not my favorite, but it is what it is. It is that crowd appealing, that mass appealing kind of fragrance. But like I said, I prefer this one over that. Does do. It's what it is. Now, number 4 on this list goes to a fragrance that is a lot like another fragrance, like most of these are. One of the things that I've noticed about these cheaper fragrances kind of lists is that typically everything that's in them smells like something that's more expensive. That's just kind of the way it is. And a lot of times they have lesser performance, but sometimes they have better performance. This in particular, in my opinion, has on par performance. It's not better, it's not worse, it's on par. It's a lot like Dior Fahrenheit, which I've been wearing here the past couple of days because I picked it up this other day. But this right here, it's like you take the gasoline note, which I've kind of grown to enjoy that note, that opening crisp note from a Fahrenheit that is not in this. While this is still pretty enjoyable, it doesn't have that crisp note, but it is loud enough in the opening that someone's gonna, someone's gonna smell what you're wearing. I was wearing this the other day as my refresher after I put on my Fahrenheit, and someone mentioned to me that it smelled like a fresh rainfall, like being outside and they smelled fresh, crisp rain coming off the grass. With top notes of bergamot, lemon, and mandarin, heart notes of bourbon pepper, nutmeg, violet, and galbanum. Base notes of cedarwood, vetiver, and patchouli. You get Mercedes-Benz for men. This is a great fragrance. Like, it's just very fresh. It is a lot like Dior Fahrenheit, a lot. Now, I know that there's an intense version of this that is equally like Dior Fahrenheit. I kind of want to get my hands on that to kind of just compare the two. But like I said, I'm going to like reaching for this whenever I don't want that diesel note. Which, like I said, is kind of appealing. I kind of like that. It brings in that tension. It brings in that, oh, you smell nice. That certain zing to it that this doesn't necessarily have. But this has the positive qualities that Fahrenheit has in terms of compliment getting, in terms of attention grabbing kind of scent. Again, minus the gasoline note, because there are more positive qualities to the Fahrenheit than just the opening. And again, guys, that is Mercedes-Benz for men. Now, number 3 is going to be the cheap of the cheap. It's going to be the bottom of the barrel, but it's not the bottom of the barrel kind of scent. This is a fragrance that I went with my friend who, Dalton, I'm not even sure if he still watched my channel or not, but he had all of his fragrances stolen from him, and he was rebuilding his collection from scratch, and he wanted some help, so I went with him to pick out some fragrances, and we came across this fragrance, which he says is his most complimented fragrance to date. Which I trust him, I believe him. He wouldn't have any reason to lie to me about it. He was working at a club, and he said that every person that walked through the door would ask him, what is he wearing? He smells great. This cost me, I think, $5. It came with a set of things, I want to say. The body wash, whatever, was messed up, but this was fine, luckily. This goes to Penthouse Legendary. Now, I've compared this in the past to Dolce & Gabbana the one, but since I've gotten that more wear, I don't see the similarities. The only similarities here with that is going to be the bottle. What it is just a crisp, fresh summer kind of scent. It's just straight lemon in the opening, pretty much lemon, maybe some orange. It's just about that throughout the entire wearing. There's not much depth to it. It's a very simple fragrance, but sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes all you need is that simple, citrus to reach out and just smell nice. And for $5, guys, this is one that has drastically surpassed my expectations of a cheap fragrance. And again, guys, that is Penthouse Legendary. Next, we have a Fresh Fougere. It's gonna be one that is not really talked about much at all on YouTube. I've not seen it on any single list at all, period. But this is a definite compliment getter, attention grabbing kind of scent that I was amazed when I smelled it, because my friend Alex, just not getting into collecting fragrances, he got this at a rack store recently, at a TJ Maxx. It's one that I've always kind of looked over. I've never been interested in this fragrance. Don't ask me why. I think that's the bottle or the box just wasn't appealing to me. It just looked very bland. But when I smelt it, I was kind of like, wow, okay, that's not bad. It's a very cool, crisp aquatic. It's very cool, I guess, if that makes sense. Not like a minty fresh necessarily, but like it's very cool. With top notes of rhubarb, ginger, and bergamot. Mid notes of nutmeg, lavender, and pepper. A heart note of leather, musk, and amber. You get Paris Blue by JeanMarc Paris. And if I said the name wrong, guys, I apologize, but here is that fragrance that I'm referring to. See, guys, I mean, a lot of you guys are going to kind of scoff off at this bottle just based off the design. It looks a lot like the Versace signature, but like wider. Going off, you guys can see it has the Office for Men style atomizer here. Typically speaking, it's trash, but this one, it's not bad. It's definitely not the best design of a bottle, but guys, what's inside is what really matters, right? So I'm actually gonna make this one my scent of the night tonight. Let's see. Whew, and you can spray it heavy, guys. It's one that's just can be sprayed heavy, and it lasts a little while. It projects decently for probably about 30-45 minutes. This is one that, guys, that if you're just wanting something to kind of throw in a bag and just refresh whenever you get a chance, because you want to smell fresh real quick, this is on par with like Nautica Voids in that sense. It's in the same vein as that. Like, it doesn't necessarily smell the same at all, but it's in the same vein as you put on, and you just smell crisp and clean. Guys, that's why this is at number 2. This is Paris Blue. Now, I wish I would have waited on applying a fragrance, because number 1 would have been the one that I wanted to wear tonight, but I messed up, so whatever. Number 1 is also going to be the most expensive on this list. And number 1 here is going to be the most expensive one on this entire list. You can probably buy each one of the ones that I've listed and, you know, add them up, and it kind of equates to the price of this one. But it all depends on what your idea of what cheap is. Cheap could be something that is high-end designer for some people. It's all based on what you define as cheap. Cheap could mean $2. Cheap could mean 10, 30, 50, 100. So I'm not gonna put like a number in the title here, so I just wanna, whatever. Top notes of ginger, grapefruit, and cardamom. Heart notes of sage, rose, and geranium. Base notes of vetiver and cedarwood. You get my favorite YSL L'Homme. You get L'Homme Ultime. Ah, so nice. This is just the most refreshing. This is the most hopping on this entire list, without a doubt. But it comes with it being pricey, I guess. It doesn't have the best performance on this list, but this is hands down the most attention-grabbing, compliment-getting fragrance that is on this list out of these 7 that I had today. Now, what are your guys' 7? I want to hear what your 7 are. Have you ever worn Ultime? Guys, I could go on for like an hour about different stories in which Ultime has brought me countless amount of compliments. You know, honestly, I have a story about each one of these fragrances that I could share with you guys, but we'll be here till next week. But guys, like I said, comment down below. Let me know what your 7 would be. But guys, if you've enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like, possibly subscribe if you want to. But guys, like I always say, keep it gent and love your scent, and I'll see you all next time.